And welcome to Ask Bonnie. This is something we do every week on Web Waste, where we answer your questions on a selected topic, and hopefully you're a little smarter for it. So this week we're doing it on snoring. This was a member suggestion from someone in Canada who I'm sad to say has a slight snoring problem. So let's go ahead and get into the first question, and it's from Gary in Grapevine, Texas, and he asks, well, what causes snoring? This is good to know, because if you have any of these problems, you're probably snoring and you don't even realize it. But some of the most common reasons people snore would have to do with allergies. Also, if you have a stuffy nose or a cold. If you have excessively large tongue with flabby muscles. So if you're not on the skinny Kate Moss side and you have a big fat tongue, that probably is causing some snoring. Also, if you still have your tonsils and your adenoids, that probably causes some snoring, as well as bulky tissues in the throat. So if you're overweight and you have your adenoids and tonsils still, you're probably the loudest kid on the block. So those are some reasons that you would probably be snoring. All right, second question is from Patty in Peoria, Illinois, and she asks, is it medically unsafe to be a snorer? Well, it's unsafe in general if you snore, because if you sleep with someone or someone else is in the room, you could have the chance of getting smacked in the middle of the night for being really loud and snoring and keeping everyone up. So there's physical harm just, because you're being annoying. But as far as medical harm goes, you probably won't have as restful of a sleep as non-snorers do. And also studies have shown that people who snore also tend to have higher blood pressure. So that's as medical as it gets as far as snoring. But you know what? It's really just not cool to be a snorer if you're going to keep everyone else in the house up, because then their sleep's disrupted too. And well, that's just my 2 cents. All right, last question is from John in Calgary, Alberta. And this was his topic suggestion, by the way. And he snores. And he wants to know, is there any sort of laser treatment that I can get done, or other kind of treatment that I can get done as far as over-the-counter to help me stop snoring, so the people in my house will forgive me? Okay, that's a good question, and I feel like I should help you, John, because this is all because of you. Yeah, there are some laser techniques. In fact, there's one where they shrink the soft palate in the back of your throat, so it helps you have a more broad passage for air to pass through as opposed to narrow, which usually causes snoring. And then there's another kind of laser treatment where they take out part of the vibrating tissue in your throat. And it doesn't change your voice or anything, so you can still sing operas, but you just won't be snoring. So those are kind of costly. I didn't have any price ranges because I think it just depends on where you live, so you might want to check that out. But also there's over-the-counter stuff like Breathe Easy and Breathe Right, which are little nose strips that you put in your nose. Those don't work so well. They work better if you just don't feel well, like if you have a stuffy nose, but it's not really good for chronic snoring. So I would go for the laser treatment. I'm sure you could do a little fundraising in the house, and everyone who wants to actually sleep a full night would probably chip in. So it's expensive, but you could do some sort of charity function and stop the snoring. Maybe you could call it the Stop the Snoring Tour or something. I'm sure there's a local band somewhere that'll help you out. All right, so that's it for this week on Ask Bonnie. Feel free to answer or ask questions or suggest topics that I might cover later on. And of course, fan mail is welcome, as is any kind of adoration whatsoever.